And so I'm here today to introduce the blueprint for a better America. You know, if the Constitution is the source code, is the hardware for our country. The United States Code, is the software that we're running, and there's problems with it. There's a lot of problems in this country that aren't being addressed, and so this legislative package is an upgrade for the United States Code. It'll bring us back to the duties that are in the Constitution that the framers laid out for us, and we can recapture that revolutionary spirit and address Martin Luther King's triple evils of poverty, racism, and militarism. In a sense, I like to think of the Constitution was America 1.0, and we've gone through this cycle about every 80 years where we upgrade our social contract. And after the Civil War, Reconstruction, we upgraded our code again. We had America 2.0 after we addressed the racial injustice of slavery. And about 80 years later, we addressed economic injustice, and we got America 3.0 with the New Deal. And now the pandemic has burned up our old social contract. It's time for a new one. It's time for America 4.0. And the way that we can do that is by recognizing the humanity in all of us and building a better America that recognizes our values, supports Americans, and creates the opportunities for all of us to succeed, and does the things in the Constitution that we're supposed to do. So we'll talk more about that in as we get going here. Section 1, the bill has a number of different sections, and Section 1 is the short title and table of contents. The bill is divided into 5 titles, one for each of the 5 duties in the preamble of the Constitution, starting with established justice. And we'll be doing hearings on those over the next 6 or 7 weeks. To establish justice, we've broken this down into 3 subtitles. One deals with police reforms, one deals with prison reforms, and one deals with prosecutorial reforms. Second title is ensure domestic tranquility, and it creates the framework for a truce on 2 of the most polarizing issues in America, guns and abortion. As a block of swing voters, we need a way to bridge the gap between partisan, between the threats. We need a way to diffuse the threat that one party is going to take away guns or abortion. And so we address that in Title II, where both sides get concessions and make concessions. In Title III, provide for the common defense. We address America's military. Subtitle A, by reducing the size back closer towards what the framers had in mind, limited army. And in the second part, trying to restore America's moral standing in the world, improving a number of our policies. 4 is promote the general welfare. This is the American Union Jobs Program, universal basic income of $1,300 a month for adults, a third of that for kids. American Union Jobs include the opportunity to buy health insurance through a public option. And it's set on a new public payment infrastructure set up by the U.S. Treasury to bring every American into the banking system and make sure that we can exchange money around the country for free, the way that we used to be able to do in cash when commerce was local. And which way we can do under America 4.0, we'll be able to do across the internet and take advantage of modern technology. Title 5 is securing the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. And the way that we secure those is through voting. And so Title 5 includes universal suffrage. And as part of the clawbacks for universal basic income, includes some fees on pollution to better protect our children's inheritance. That, Mixed Chair, I think that concludes my testimony for Section 1. Be happy to answer any questions if we have any.
Yes, thank you. That was fantastic. We do have a couple questions. So Joey in New York asked, why go through this trouble when Congress will amend it? A note that this isn't exactly relevant to the legislation itself, but if you would you be willing to briefly answer it?
Oh, that's a fair question. The answer is that Congress doesn't have to amend it. Congress has a lot of power. Congress can do, whatever it puts its mind to. And we see this all the time. We saw this last week where the Senate and the House agreed to use a bill that had already passed through a couple times, and then put in the language from the vote, the John Lewis voting rights bill. They tucked it in there and then brought it back to the Senate to avoid a filibuster before the debate. We saw this at the end of 2020, where Congress decided to take a previously passed bill and, in a committee of conference, replace it with 5,593 pages, and then present that legislative package to Congress for a straight up or down vote. They can do the exact same thing with this legislative package. They can put it before the members of Congress for a straight up or down vote. The way that the intention is to put this before the American people for an up or down vote. And if the people support this and are willing to back it up with their votes on November 8th, 2022, we will have the political leverage this on the president's desk and to upgrade America's code.
Awesome. Yeah. So we have another one from Wayne in New Hampshire. Isn't this too much for one piece of legislation? Wouldn't it be better to break it up?
Be nice, like if we could deal with these issues one at a time. But I used to serve in the legislature, and this is sort of how things get done: is they get lumped into big packages and they get passed all at once. And it would be nice if Congress would address all of these problems on their own. But the only way that we, the people, can can apply pressure is by putting into one legislative package and backing it up as a union of swing voters. That's the only way. So we get one shot every 2 years to hold them directly accountable for whether they have acted as we wished or if they have refused to act. That's part of the answer. Part of this is, I guess, is maybe there's some incrementalism in his question. Dr. King warned in his letter from the Birmingham jail, the white moderates. And we have issues, deep-seated issues in this country that need to be addressed. And we could ask politely with incrementalism, like maybe could we close some of the holes in the safety net just a little bit and not let so many people fall through? I mean, we just let the child tax credit, which was keeping 3 million American children out of poverty, we let that expire. And so now they're going to join the 9 million that our policy had left living in poverty. No. Can we talk about maybe we should legalize marijuana on the federal level so states can be like, what we're really asking is, can we cautiously reunite families of nonviolent drug offenders? And maybe could we please not drop so many bombs around the world? This legislation presents big solutions because it's not asking for permission. It's asking for forgiveness. And we should be sorry that we allow 1 in 9 Americans to live in poverty. It's a policy choice that we've made, and it's wrong. We should be sorry that our drug war has decimated communities of color and incarcerated so many people. And we should be sorry that our American-made bombs are being dropped all around the world. They're used to blow up a school bus in Yemen and kill dozens of preteen boys. Like, we should be sorry about these things, and we can try and make it right by addressing Dr. King's triple evils, by upgrading our code and bringing America into the 21st century with this revolution of values.